Greetings and salutations, and this is Tech Plays here, back with more Crash Bandicoot Warped, and I think we're going back for some gems. I didn't think to check the video clips before I started doing commentary. This video was like edited weeks ago, so I don't remember. Yeah, we're going back for gems because we just took the death route. We started the video with the death route. We're going back for gems. I don't think I show off all the death routes, but I do like show off a few of them. I also show off all the color gems for sure. Like, I for sure show off the color gems, I know that. I leave out a lot of, like, the extra shit I had to go for, especially the relics, because the relics in particular probably took most of my time with this playthrough, and I didn't want to, like, extend this Let's Play longer than it had to be. Not because I don't enjoy doing this Let's Play, I kind of do. I think Crash Bandicoot and Resident Evil are probably the Let's Plays I have the most fun with. I have fun doing, like, Sonic Let's Plays, too. Not as much as, like, Crash and Resident Evil, but I have fun with those, too, because those are my 3 favorite series of all time. So those are the 3 I have the most fun, in general, doing. But there's also, like, individual games I enjoy Let's Playing, like Hi-Fi Rush, and, I'm enjoying Phantom Fury right now. I'm enjoying doing that Let's Play, though. I'm thinking of going back to post-commentary for Phantom Fury, because I started that Let's Play doing it live because I thought it would be better, but I'm starting to run out of The problem I used to have when I did commentary live all the time was that I would run out of shit to say and have long periods of silence, and I've been noticing that happen with Phantom Fury, and I don't want it to happen because I feel like my videos are more entertaining when I keep talking. Well, not talk over the important moments, obviously, but that's the issue with post-commentary, is I can't hear the game because of the way Share Factory works, and that keeps me from, stopping, like, shutting up when I need to shut up, basically. And that's it. I struggle with that a bit when it comes to, like, post-commentary. But you might be saying, why don't I just upload these videos to my phone or something and use an app? Because the only editing app I have that I actually trust using is Power Director, and that puts a little overlay in the corner of its logo and shit, and I can't afford to turn that off. So it's like I only use that when I'm making lyric videos and stuff, because I can't use Share Factory for lyric videos, you know what I mean? Like, when I do stuff like that, that's when I use Power Director, but I don't want to use it for my main content because I don't want that little overlay in the corner of every video. You get what I'm saying? I had to deal with that for my Sonic Rush Adventure Let's Play a while back because I had to transfer video files to my phone and then edit them through Power Director, and that was just not fun. I do want to get, like, a cheap laptop someday to, like, do better video editing. That is a plan I have to do. Plus, I want to emulate old games for Let's Plays. Yes, I know emulation is not... I know it's not good. But there are literally games you can't... Like, I would literally only emulate games I have no way of playing anymore. Like, any game that's available on modern consoles... Well, available on PlayStation 5 in particular. Apparently I didn't edit this out, fuck. But if it's not available on PS4, PS5, that's when I have to do that. That's when I have to do that. So, like, I'm not above admitting that I would literally emulate just to Let's Play old games, because there's no way of me buying those games back. A lot of those games cost like $80, like as much as a brand new game, and I'm like, I'm not paying that for this old ass game. I'm sorry. Like, it's pretty cheap to get like a PS2 or something, but it's like so expensive to like get a capture card. Then on top of the capture card, I would have to like get the games. And they're so expensive now, which is so stupid. Like, I think Sonic Rush Adventure, if I had to rebuy it, is like $40-something. Which is not that bad for... Like, that one's not that bad. But there's like some that are like $80. I think Crash to Insanity was like $80 when I looked it up. Because at some point I was considering like getting a PS2 again and like making a game collection of games I used to play as a kid as well as games I missed out on. But then like once I saw how much those games individually cost, I was like, no, this ain't worth it. Like, these games are old. They should be cheap. They should not be going for this much. But that's just the way it is. And, like, the fact of the matter is, even if I were to do that, right, buying those individual games would not even give money to the company that made them. So it's like, what's the point? What's the point? You know, I'm not actually supporting the publisher or the developers. So, like, what's the point? You know what I mean? Like, the only reason I would play it legitimately is to support the publisher and developer, but I'm not doing that if I buy it off some random person who has it on the internet, which is what I would end up doing. So it's like the only way I'm supporting like anyone is if I went back and bought a PS2 or something. Like, I really want to do like one of the main like Let's Plays I want to do if I could ever get like a cheap enough laptop. Is I want to do a Sonic Heroes Let's Play. I know what I'm getting into by doing that. I know how long that Let's Play would be. I know how many times I gotta replay the game. I do not care. I always have fun with Sonic Heroes. And I am able to emulate it on my phone. I tested it. The only issue with playing it on my phone is it doesn't record audio. That's why I want to like put off doing any emulated Let's Plays until like I can get a cheap enough laptop. But it has to be a laptop that can support emulation. That's the thing. Like, I gotta figure that out. Like, it doesn't need to support, like, emulation from, like, the PS3 era, just before that. So it doesn't gotta be, like, high-end emulation. It just needs to be, like, it just needs to support PS2, DS, Wii, all that stuff. All the stuff before. Because, like, anything PS3 onwards is, in most cases, available on modern consoles. So there wouldn't be a legitimate reason for doing that. Like, I'd be better off just buying it on the PS5 and supporting the devs and the publisher. Because, like, that's the only reason I would... Like, again, that's the only reason that, like, I would be against emulation is if I'm able to get the game legitimately and support the people who made it. Because I'd rather support the people that made it. That's how I am, like... I do that when I watch shows too. Like, the only way I'll watch a show on a site, and I'm saying it as on a site because that's the most decent way of putting it. Whenever I want to watch a show and it's not available on like Netflix or anything that I have available to me, then I have to. Like, I don't have a choice. I can't afford every streaming service, and that's an issue. And you might be saying, why don't you just not watch the show? And I'm just like, fuck that. There are shows that I love that I had to watch illegally. Like, I don't like that I had to. Trust me, I don't. I only resort to that when it's the only choice, as I've been making a point of this whole time. It's kind of the whole reason I wouldn't emulate any game that's available on the PlayStation Store, because it's like, I can officially support the people who made the game and published it and all that. Why would I emulate it? That's when it would be kind of fucked. You know what I mean? But yeah, I have been considering it. If I could ever figure out a way to like record audio of emulated games on my phone. I also need a controller for it too. That was the other thing. Because I tried playing like Sonic Heroes with like the touchscreen controls, and it was just like, wasn't that fun? Like, the game was fun. Don't get me wrong, but it was like the controls on the touchscreen didn't work with it that well. What I might do, if I could figure out how to record audio for emulation, right? Might just buy a cheap Bluetooth controller made for phones or something. That's what I might do. But I gotta figure that out first. The only way I know that you could record audio of gameplay on your phone is if you have it out loud, but then it's also going to record like background noise all around you doing it that way, and it's like, I'd rather just not have the volume. And it's like, I gotta figure that shit out. Because I have been wanting to like emulate more DS games, emulate some like PS2, GameCube games type situation, stuff that literally is not available on modern consoles. Again, I can't stress that enough. I'd only do it if it's not available on modern consoles. I'm not a fucked up person. I'm not gonna like do it when I can support the devs and shit. Because there is like a fine line to walk there. Like, I think emulation is valid when you're not able to like support the official developers and publishers and shit. That's when it's valid. When you can support them, then it's wrong. That's when it's wrong, because that's the point where I'd call it stealing, because there's a legal way to support it. That's just my thoughts on emulation. I feel like it's like a fine line you gotta walk. Like, if you emulate games that are currently available on modern consoles, really easy to get, then you're kind of a shitty person. But if you emulate games that are not available anymore, you're excused, because how else are you going to play those games? Like, if you own them from the past, that's good, play them that way, but I don't know. Some of the games I want to emulate too are games I already bought in the past, so I feel like I've already supported it. You get what I'm saying? Like, I've already supported the developer. Like Sonic Heroes, I owned that as a kid. I supported the developer. If I were to emulate, what are some other games I want to do? I want to do some PS2 Ratchet and Clank games. I owned those at some point. I supported the dev. And yeah, I could stream the PS2 Ratchet and Clank games on PlayStation Plus Premium, but those games run like shit on that. Not only that, but I don't think you're really supporting the developer by buying PS Plus Premium. If I'm being quite honest, I think only Sony is getting that money. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, like, I probably would mostly stick to games I had bought at some point, just so like there's an extra layer of I've already supported the game in the past. I'm just finding a way to play it again, because I don't have my copy anymore. I don't have the console anymore, none of that shit. My PS2 lasted a long time too. Like, if I could have figured out a way to record gameplay on a PS2 back when I had a PS2, I could have. It lasted all the way till like 2019 and then like stopped working, so it lasted a long time. I had that bitch since like, I want to say 2006, 2007. Because this is how it went. I got a PS2 in like 2006, I want to say. Then got a Wii in like 2011. Got a DS in like 2013. Got PS4 in 2016. PS5 2022. Kind of worked like that, yeah. No, PS4 was 2015, near the end of it. You gotta keep in mind as well, though, a lot of these consoles I got late when they were like cheaper. I think the Wii and DS were cheaper by the time I got them. By the time like someone bought them for me. Same with the PS2. On top of that, I shared my I shared the PS2 and Wii with my siblings. It wasn't just mine. The only one that was strictly mine was the DS. Like, I shared the other shit with my siblings because it was for all of us. It was like a combined gift in a way, so it was like, that's kind of how, like, in retrospect, I kind of get it, because like, that's how my parents saved money, was just having it be a shared gift. And I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. I think the first console I owned on my own outside of the DS was the PS4. But after that, PS5 was the first console I kind of bought bought on my own, I want to say. It's the first console I bought on my own, because starting in like 2018, most of the games I got were purchased on my own. Other people didn't buy them for me, I bought them myself. Starting in 2018-ish. And then, like, there's only one exception since then, and it's an exception I don't want to think about. It's like the same reason I refuse to play that game again. Don't expect... I know sometimes I revisit games for like a one-off video or something. Don't expect me to ever revisit RE4 Remake, because as good as that game is, I got that game because of a person that basically turned against me like half a year later. Not half a year later, about a year later. So, it's a game that has negative thoughts attached to it. Like, I can't help it. As much as I want to, like, love that game, as much as I used to. Because that game meant so much to me. You don't understand. Like, it meant so much to me that a friend was willing to do that for me. I didn't ask a friend to do that. They did it for me. It meant so much, but then that friend turned out to be a shitty person who hurt me and other people I cared about literally out of thin air. Seemingly for no reason, because everyone involved in the situation doesn't seem to know the exact reason. The closest answer I got was pretty vague. Like, no one actually knows why that friend did us that way. And it's like, basically, it just boils down to that friend was just likely a shitty person, and we didn't do anything wrong. Because when everyone involved in the situation doesn't know why they did that, and the closest answer you could get from anyone aside from the person themselves, because the person themselves was, I couldn't exactly get an answer from. Like, when everyone outside that person, at best, can only give you a vague answer. Like, that's suspicious to me. That just tells me that, like, we didn't do anything wrong. We couldn't have, because it doesn't add up, you know? Like, if no one knows what we did wrong, it's like, I don't know. You gotta think logically about that. When no one knows exactly why that friend turned on other friends, it literally, the only, like, logical explanation is that friend just turned out to be a shitty person and didn't want to deal with us anymore. And that's not how you do friends. Like, I bring this situation up every once in a while. I'm not as annoyed by it as I used to be. Like, I used to be depressed over it and, like, angry over it. Now I'm just kind of mildly annoyed every time I think about it. I still hate that person, though. So, like, I'm never playing RE4 again. I tried to, and I just couldn't stomach it. It was like, ugh, I can't play a game that person got me. I can't. It's like, it makes me feel so uncomfortable, to put it, like, in the nicest way. Like, it makes me feel uncomfortable playing it, because it was a game someone who basically treated me and my friends like shit later on got me. And that just, ugh, it feels so gross. Like, I don't want to play it. Like, it makes me super uncomfortable playing it now, and it sucks, because that was my third favorite Resident Evil game. Now I can't enjoy it ever again. It's like, not even focusing on, like, the worst parts of that whole situation that I've already talked about over and over again. We're focusing on, like, one of the lasting impacts it's caused outside of, like, the worst parts of it. This part is still pretty bad, because it literally makes it where I can't enjoy a fantastic game. But it's not like, I don't want somebody watching this video just going, oh, boo-hoo, you can't play a game. That's all they did to you. No, they did way worse. That's just a byproduct of what they did. Like, there's so many consequences from what they did that I am the main one paying for. And it's like, I just, ugh. It kind of makes me glad that person's not in my life anymore, because, like, they're the kind of person to do that. I don't want them to be my friend anyway. Like, I don't want people like that in my life, and I should have never trusted that person. Should have never have. Like, that was all my, well, wasn't all my fault they did all that shit, but it was my fault that I trusted them. And I'll take responsibility for that bit. That was my fault. It was my fault I trusted them. It was their fault that whole situation happened, but it was my fault I trusted them. Me trusting them is what allowed that situation to happen. So while the situation itself wasn't my fault, I still take part of the blame. And I'll willingly do it too. Like, I'm not depressed over it. I'm not going to be a people pleaser again over it or nothing like that. That realization, actually, that it wasn't, that like the situation itself wasn't my fault, is actually what broke me out of my people pleaser phase. If you don't, for anyone who doesn't know, I may have talked about this a couple times before, but I went through a pretty bad people pleaser phase through most of 2024. And like, I would say from like March of 2024 until like near the end of October of 2024, when I came to the realization that situation wasn't my fault. Like, I spent, like I said, that situation happened at like the end of September. Like, it started happening at the end of September, and it continued happening into the first week or two of October. And then like at the tail end of October, either at the tail end of October or the first week of November, I came to the realization after weeks of like blaming myself but not knowing what the fuck I did, and literally trying to remember everything I've done in the last few months to try to figure out what I've done. I came to the realization that situation wasn't my fault. Like, all I did in that situation was try to coexist with that person somewhere. I didn't bother that person. I didn't say anything to them. After they cut me out of their life, I was just like, damn, now I'm in a situation where I have to coexist with them somewhere. And I was just like, you know what? I'm fine with that. I'm just not going to talk to them. Not going to bother them. If it is my fault, because like at the time I was blaming myself. So I was like, yeah, let's not bother them. Let's give them space. I'll coexist here. I'll not bother this person, because clearly they got some issue with me, and I wouldn't want to make them uncomfortable or anything. And then, guess what? That person finds a way to get me removed from said place we had to coexist. And that was really like the first clue that I wasn't the one at fault, but I still went on blaming myself for like a couple, like 2-3 weeks after that. Still trying to figure out what I did, because like, at the time, I was like, what could I have done to make this person hate me so much that they're willing to manipulate somebody while character assassinating me and my friends? What could I have done to, like, push them to hurting, like, other people who aren't even involved and manipulating someone? Because my friends weren't involved in that whole situation. Like, the only thing they did was check on the person for me, like, when that situation first started, because I was worried. I was worried something happened to that person, so, like, all they did was check on the person for me, and then the person turned on them and basically said lies about them, same way he was doing me, and, like, don't, be careful who you trust, that's all I'm saying. Like, be careful who you trust. That situation also taught me not to be a people pleaser, because like, the reason why that broke me out of my people pleaser phase is because when I came to the realization that it wasn't my fault, I realized that the only reason I was blaming myself is because I was such a people pleaser. Like, me being a people pleaser is why I was blaming myself. Me being a people pleaser is why I allowed that friend to stay my friend for so long, ignoring so many red flags that literally the moment that happened, I looked back and saw so many red flags that should have like been the moment I was like, yeah, I need to not talk to this person anymore, because this person had so many problematic red flags looking back. And it's like, I ignored all these because for one, I was going through a people pleaser phase near the end of our friendship, and a lot of these red flags were near the end of our friendship. But like, two, I'm a really fucking loyal person, even like without the like people pleaser phase. I've always been a very loyal person. Like, it takes a lot for me to turn on someone. Like, it really does. They'd have to do something seriously fucked up for me to turn on them. And like, this person, none of their red flags were seriously fucked up exactly. So, like, they were never enough to make me turn on them. I was just like, okay, I'll accept it because you're my friend. But looking back, some of those red flags should have told me that this person wasn't actually my friend, that this person was like just like mistreating me, misusing me, like manipulating me, all that stuff. That's the main part, manipulation. This person manipulated me into doing like several things that I regret, and it's like literally looking back, some people got hurt because this person manipulated me, and that's like, I'm not exactly like mad at what this person did to me. It's how it affected others over the years and how others may think of me now because I listened to that friend. And it's like, I don't know. I feel so guilty forever like trusting that person. Because me trusting that person, especially during my people pleaser phase, hurt so many other people, and like I feel so bad about that. Like, it's not about like how that person did me, it's how that person had me do other people. This was a friend I trusted so much that like literally anything they said, I'd be like, okay, I trust your judgment, I'll do this. And because of that, I hurt people. And it's like, looking back, I feel so bad because yeah, a couple of those people were actually terrible people. This friend was actually honest about that, but then there were other people that this friend just didn't like, but then they turned out to be decent folk, and I just mistreated a decent person, and it's like, I hate that looking back. I feel so bad for something that I was manipulated into doing, and that's, I am doing, like, I'll say this much, I'm doing mentally fine without this friend. Like, I'm better off than I've ever been without this friend because I'm not making as many mistakes as I have before. I'm not like being a people pleaser anymore because this friend, like, I don't think he did it intentionally. I'm pretty sure it was mainly because of how much I trusted this friend, but I basically got pushed into my people pleaser phase because of how much I trusted this friend. And that's what, like, I feel like I'm way better without this friend, but at the same time, like, I wish I had never met this friend. Because there are some things I can never fix now. There are people I'll never run into again that I did dirty because this friend told me to, or this friend convinced me they were bad people. Only for me to look back and remember, oh yeah, that person wasn't actually that bad. I was just manipulated. I'm basically, like, mad at how other people were affected because this person was a shitty friend to me. Not how I was affected. Like, of course, like, how I was affected hurts a lot, especially because of how much I trust this friend, but that's not the point. Like, if it was just me that was harmed by this friend, by this former friend, I should start saying former friend because they're not my friend anymore. But if it was just me that was harmed by them, I wouldn't still be annoyed by this whole situation. I would have let it go. I would have moved on. I would have been like, fuck them, I'm better without them, because that's the truth. I am better without them. But it's not just me they hurt. But that's all I gotta say about that. It's just, don't trust somebody if you see red flag, like super obvious red flags. Even if like you're a really loyal person, you want to trust them because they're your friend. Just look for red flags. That's the lesson for today. Anyway, I'm ending this video off. Bye.